Welcome to yet another episode of Truthcast. This is Nichols anaitwa pia Magda. This is Chris Hani. Nyinyi mkiitwa Baboi, watu walikuwa wanaitwa Hani huko. Kevo Brayo.
Devi.
Watu walikuwa wanaitwa Hani huko, and then here we have the better half to Hani. You have the honor to introduce her.
Well, my lipo.
This is
my
Patience, my mzungu wangu.
I'm humble.
And this is Spencer, Adelaide Spencer.
Your one and only.
Mwenyeji. So today, tunataka kuongelea hii issue ya being in that position where you feel like everyone else is dating except you. Most, if not all, have felt that way. In schools, home, kwa ploti. Kwanza za ploti zoshika.
With regards to dating, to be honest, I've never felt that pressure. I'm trying to think of like high school, maybe I come to. So I think I've always been in this space where, especially after, let's say, since I was an adult, since I knew what I was doing, I've never felt like that. Because there's a period of time when I wasn't dating like for a long time, and it was just, I was comfortable. I was in a place where I was getting to know myself too. So it was never really
an issue feel like you need to date? Like it wasn't a need.
It was a desire. It to happen, that it's something I wanted to happen eventually, but not, I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I need to date. Yeah.
For me, when I was in high school, it was so common. The kind of friends nilikuwa na hang out now, it was so common. What are you doing with your life? Until it'll get to a point I wanted to do it, not because I want to, but because this is something everyone else is doing, and it really messed me up, because when I end up make wrong decisions, you end up with people haufai kuwa nao, you end up in places you're not supposed to be, and pia ni stigma, because una feel in this group si fit in. Kila mtu kwanza high school, kila mtu akitoka, kila mtu akuja na stories zake. Ukiuliza stories zako ni venye ulifagia compound, venye ulienda church, venye mlimitoa beshte mkaimba. Oh my god. Yeah, so that was it.
For me, I would say it ilikuwa hiyo pressure ya watu wanafanya nini huko nje. Like, does it mean that I should also be doing these things in my relationship?
Hata before tuendelee, is dating really necessary? You two are dating. Is it necessary that you be dating? Tell us, is it necessary?
Fish.
Yes, there was a time I felt like, why is everyone dating but for me? What is that is so wrong about me that no one wants to date me? It's a place where you're too vulnerable, you're too open to everyone. Everyone is an option, which is not a good thing. This was actually that period when I had to start understanding who I am as a person, as an individual, being content with who I am as a person, understanding what my weaknesses and strengths are, and focusing majorly on myself. So when I hear people joking around at Wakisema, oh, she's what's the word they use? I'm trying to find myself. It's not really a joke per se, but yes, you really do need to know yourself, because why would you give yourself to someone else when you really don't know who you are? How do you expect someone else to handle something you do not understand?
Umesema kitu deep sana hapo.
Snap stream.
Manze.
Shaka.
Nini, you've said this thing of when you're actually giving yourself to someone. The people who don't know that when you're getting into a relationship, you're actually giving yourself. Because for a long time I had this picture of we're just together. We're just doing together. We're just doing things together.
Okay.
I think with regards to dating, first of all, how our parents dated is very different from how we are dating right now, and it's very different from how our children will date. And you've asked, is dating really necessary? I think we need to define what dating really is, because the way you've said finding yourself, I think it's actually very amazing to find yourself. In fact, me rather, I'm finding myself.
well,
But
I'd say that term finding myself, it's very dangerous because some people lose themselves trying to find themselves.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
because you're in the journey of trying to find yourself, lakini unaend up you everywhere. Unajitafuta kila mahali, you end up drowning in things that you aren't supposed to be in them. This is me. I'm not finding myself outside there, but first
From the
from within.
inside,
You
yeah.
Because if you allow the world to define you, you end up messed up.
what is the difference between dating and courting?
I think dating is with intent to know the person, and then courting is that place where you decide. By the way, I think we should do this like for the long run, for life. Like let's partner and hope that and with the intention of getting married.
So when are you ready for this, Basi?
When are you ready for this?
The dating.
When is the right
When are you ripe for it?
for dating?
I think
dating.
I think okay, I know I'm a hostee, but I would like Spencer to tell us when she thinks would be the right time.
Why?
No, because like nataka kusikia from you because you're not dating, like you mentioned. So like I want to know nini. She's right where she's supposed to be.
Yes, tuendelee. Gonga hiyo kitu.
Hey, amen.
I don't think there's my opinion is I don't think there's a ripe age. I think you're ready when you don't know you're ready.
You're ready when you don't know you're ready.
You understand? Like if I can give the example of Mary didn't know she was ready. Yeah, alikuwa tu I am your maid servant OG. Oh God, do with me as you please. She had oh, Jesus.
Nimesema the exact same thing.
We are the same.
But Mary didn't know she was going to conceive this thing, and it was something that had been prophesied years and years ago. So to answer your question, I don't know. I believe you're ready when you don't know you're ready. You know, and for some people will say I'm ready when my finances are good, when my career is getting up, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But there are still how many people are very rich, their careers have prospered and peaked, but they still can't seem to get someone.
The right person.
You know, they still can't seem, you're 40, everything about you is okay, but this one side of relationship umeshindwa kucrack. So for me, I think you're ready when you don't know you're ready.
When you unasema your statement you're ready when you don't know you're ready, in my head it's ringing like this: you're ready for this thing when you don't need it.
Absolutely.
Your time when it's not a need, it's no longer I need this thing.
I crave it.
When you're now satisfied as you are, I'm good. Yeah. When you don't need it, when it's not a need, I think that's when you're ready, because when it's not a need, then it means you're whole.
Yes.
So tukiingia huko kwa relationship atuingie kwa na vikombe nusu,
ati
50-50 ama ndo that's why you find these issues like akijana huku niambia good night vizuri mbona unikolingi. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. Lay down.
Okay, huh?
I'm not saying it's bad to be it feels good kuambiwa good night in a certain way and to be texted all the time, but if you're living out of that, what happens to you nisipoku text? Unaget?
Yeah.
So when you don't need it, hata nisipoku text in some way, you're still fine. You won't feel like I've loved you less or sijui what, because you're whole. You came in when you are whole. Yeah.
Where does the Spirit of God come in you choosing your partner?
Very beginning. That's literally from the very beginning.
So both of you prayed and both of you talked to God and both of you had God. Someone is probably wondering, how do these people talk to God? How do they hear God? That's a topic for another day.
Yes.
Tutawaita watuambie how they had.
Voice to
I want to hear your side.
Did the did the earth shake when God was talking? What
did their
happened?
Kwanza nilikuwa kwa bafu.
Hey.
Why?
Tawaita watuambie really how you hear God. And then this brings me back to this thing of there are people who just go into, okay, once you have decided I want to get to know this person, unajituma, and you don't have people to be accountable to. I think it's important to have people around you, including God. You know, get like you had the voice of God, including God, who can give their opinions. So people who are close to us, their opinions really matter, isn't it? Yeah, like friends.
Absolutely.
Like if you have spiritual parents like me, parents, some of us it's our parents, some of us ni ule auntie moja akisema no, it is no.
There's a time I think two or 3 months ago, I was having a conversation with my church home pastor, local pastor, and he said something that stuck. He said, if I'm in the will of God, then that means my spouse is already something that God has catered for, and so my work is just to ensure that I am not outside of his will, because if we say, because sometimes even as Christians, and I realized that even with myself a few months ago, that you have surrendered everything to God: finances, your family, your education, your career, everything. But this relationship, you're still holding on to it. You're like, okay, God, acha nikusaidie hapa because ni feelings zangu, and God is like, mimi ndo nakuumbia huyu mtu mwenye unataka. So if we stay on course, then that is because for example, Isaac, the moment Isaac laid eyes on Rebecca, it was love at first sight. So this means Isaac was in the will of God. And when what was the name of that man I've forgotten the name, the servant, I forgot, I don't know if it was Eliezer. No, Gehazi and Elisha. So the moment you're in God's will, you will definitely have a spouse, because God has willed it for you to have a spouse. Me, even God, I have never believed. I know there are nuns. God has ordained for them to be nuns and fathers, but I believe God. For me, I believe God has ordained it for people to be together, man and woman.
Okay, tunaongea sana kuliko wageni, lakini allow me to say this. I think the reason why people don't, in all other things, they can easily surrender to God except this relationship things, it's because how we grew up. Ini tabia mbaya, unaget, usikuwe na boyfriend, usikuwe na girlfriend, so you think even in God's presence kwake hataki utaje hizi vitu kwa sababu ni tabia mbaya. So I think that is one of the reason why people are rigid. Una feel like, let me give a short story. I know of a man of God. The first time he saw the woman he was to later marry, and he would feel those things, alikuwa anaenda kwa pastor yake ana repent, anasema I think I have sinned. Why? It's because of the things you have been taught. You feel like this is wrong, even God is not for this thing, but really he's the author of relationships, and he created us for relationships. So si tabia mbaya, as long as you're doing the right things, as long as you're dating and all, ufanyi vitu funny, involve God. Aki wageni poleni, tunaongeanga hivi tu sana kawaida.
Nasikizanga hivi sana ukiwatch video.
There's something I really want to say, and I feel a lot of joy when I'm saying it. This thing of, when are you ready for dating? Please open the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 5. Hey, yeah. Songs of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 5. Actually quote Good News Version, because that's the one I remember. Inasema, O daughters of Jerusalem, I beseech thee, do not stir up the waters, do not stir up love until it's time. Mimi nakumbuka hiyo verse tulikuwa tunasomewa Sunday school,
And it's repeated 3 times.
Yeah, it's repeated this in the same book. Sindio, iko pia chapter 2. Same book. Tulikuwa tunasoma hiyo verse Sunday school. Mimi nilikuwa najua verse, and then our teacher will explain it in this way. Hii inamaanisha usome, umalize shule, upate kazi, ndo uolewe, ndo upate boy. Unasikia inasema usistir up love until it's time. So I grew up knowing that I must do this and do this and do this so that I get a guy, and then we get married, and then he will provide for me, and as in you just have this thing because it has been fed in you. And then one time nilikuwa naisoma home, and this is the picture I got. I want you to picture a very big, huge tank. that is always full of water. It never runs out of water. Alafu hapo chini kona tap, venye tanks zingine zinakuanga na tap. Now I want you to, in your head, I want to take your bucket na weke hapo chini hiyo tap. Tufungulie hiyo tap. What will happen? Si maji itaingia ndani ya bucket. Common sense is hiyo maji ikija ufunge tap. But in this scenario, don't close the tap. Acha maji imwagike. Now the tank is God, the water is God's love, the bucket is you. So what happens? Yeah. So what happens? I think you're ready for dating when God's love has filled you up to the point of overflow, like this bucket. It's overflowing. So your overflow ndo utaweza kupenda nayo huyu mtu. Ndo utaweza kupatia friends and pia that partner. So God is saying, do not stir it up until it's time. Because naturally, if nataka kukoroga kitu, I'll close the tap na nikoroge. So utaenda hapo unakoroga bucket nusu. No, until it's time. So God is simply saying, I'm not against you dating. I'm not against those bougie feelings and all these things. But until it's time, let me fill you up to the point of overflow, to the point you're whole. So I think if you're out there, you're a Christian and you're thinking of dating and you have not been filled up to that point, don't date. You'll waste your time. You're the one who will break your own heart. Because utajipeleka hapo when you're not ready. Because when your bucket is half full, utapea to all that love. Alafu utabaki na nothing. Hapo ndo unapata issues funny kwa relationship. Una get? Yeah.
That reminds me, I was watching a sermon, I think it was by Mike Todd, and he was giving this example of buckets, and he put balls inside a bucket and started filling water, and those balls fell off the bucket. So those balls, how I got what I got from that sermon was, the moment God's love is filling me up, everything, every vice, every weakness, every bitterness, every unforgiveness is definitely going to fall out.